Ever wonder what a Gen Z rebellion might look like in a world of banned cell phones and like drones everywhere?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's a pretty crazy thought, right?
Yeah, it is.
Well, we're going to be looking at an excerpt from the book Generation Z Uprising.
Okay.
And it's a book all about that, this whole world where Gen Z is rebelling in this way.
That sounds pretty interesting.
It's really cool. And in this excerpt we're looking at, we're right in the heart of it. We're in Washington, D.C., the dying days of summer, and the city is under this constant drone surveillance. It's a really cool setup.
Yeah.
We meet M, our main character,
Yeah.
and she's searching for someone named Mouse.
Mouse.
Yeah, it's a cool name. And she's specifically in the Georgetown area, which is kind of interesting because Georgetown is supposed to be relatively safe in this world.
Oh, okay.
But she's still out in the open, and like that's a huge risk in this world.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right, like if you're outside, the drones can see you, the Todesschwadron can find you.
Yeah, the Todesschwadron, those are the like enforcers, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a German word for like death squad, basically.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty intense.
Yeah, definitely.
So why is M taking this chance?
I don't know.
Well, it seems like this Mouse character, he's kind of key to the rebellion.
Okay.
He runs this black market for burner phones.
Burner phones, like old school.
Yeah, exactly. Like the kind you'd use if you didn't want anyone to track you.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Right. And these burner phones, they provide that much needed connection for Gen Z, a way to access content and experiences that they're not supposed to have.
Yeah.
It's all forbidden, you know.
I see, yeah.
It kind of makes you think about how we take those connections for granted, right?
Really?
Like we have our phones, we can talk to whoever we want, we can look up anything.
Exact.
But for them, it's like a whole different thing. It's not just about staying in touch. It's about accessing information, like real information that hasn't been filtered or controlled.
So it's like their way of fighting back, like reclaiming some of their freedom.
Exactly.
That's pretty powerful.
And the author, they throw in this really cool twist. They introduce these things called side eyes.
Side eyes, what are those?
They're these humanoid robots, basically, designed to blend in. You know, you wouldn't even know they were robots unless you were really paying attention.
Oh, wow.
And she's actually tracking 3 of them in Georgetown. One of them, it's really cool. He's this street preacher.
A robot street preacher.
Yeah. His name is St. Johnny.
St. Johnny. That's a pretty good name.
I know. It's very catchy, right?
Yeah.
And he seems totally human. You know, he preaches, he talks to people. But there's this one little thing.
What is it?
His voice.
His voice. What about it?
It has this subtle electronic whine to it. Almost like, remember that old dial-up internet sound?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
It's kind of like that, like an echo from the past.
Wow.
I know, it's such a cool deep.
It is really cool. So even in this like advanced future, technology still can't perfectly copy humans, huh?
Right. Like there's always going to be that little something that gives it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty neat concept.
And it really makes you think, right? Like, is that whine intentional? Like, did they do that on purpose so people would know he's not human?
Or maybe so the robots can tell each other apart.
Yeah, that's a good point. Or maybe, like, it's a way for humans to identify each other, you know, like that signal that says, hey, I'm real, you can trust me.
It's kind of creepy, though. I mean, not knowing who's real and who's not.
It is creepy. It plays on all those anxieties we have about technology, right? Like, what if we can't tell the difference anymore?
Yeah.
So we've got M dealing with all this, the side eyes, the Todesschwadron trying to find Mouse, and then there's this like really beautiful moment where she pauses to watch the sunset.
A sunset.
Yeah. It's this moment of peace amidst all the tension, you know?
Yeah.
But even then, there's this constant feeling of being watched because the drones are always there.
Like they can never really relax, can they?
No, not really. It's a constant state of paranoia.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense.
It is. So we have Gen Z rebelling. These burner phones that are like symbols of defiance. These creepy side eyes lurking around.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder how you would handle all of that.
Makes you wonder if you could even survive in a world like that.
Right. Like, could you trust anyone? Would you even want to?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I mean, it really makes you think about the price of freedom. Like, how much are you willing to risk for it?
Exactly. It's a lot to process, right?
Yeah.
This whole world that the author has created.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
But that's what makes it so great, I think. It's thought-provoking.
It is. It really makes you think about the role of technology in our lives and how easily it can be used to control us.
Definitely.
And I think more than anything, it's a story about the human spirit. Like, even in the face of all this oppression, Gen Z is still finding ways to connect, to rebel, to fight for what they believe in.
And it really makes you wonder how things will turn out for them, right? Like, will they succeed? Or will the Todesschwadron crush them?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? And I guess we'll have to read the rest of the book to find out, but even just this excerpt, it really leaves you wanting more.
Oh, for sure.
I'm totally hooked.
Me too. And I bet our listeners are too. If you're interested in dystopian fiction, social commentary, and just a really great story, check out Generation Z Uprising. It's a story that stays with you.
It really does. All right, everyone, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
Check out Generation Z Uprising, the podcast that's sparking conversation. Tune in on the Generation Z Uprising YouTube channel and follow us across all social media platforms. Don't miss out. Join the movement today.